Whether your allegiance is to the Dark Knight or to the Man of Steel, we know you're gearing up to play Injustice 2. But how successful can this game be? Let's find out. Today we will be switching gears and talking to you about NetherRealm's newest fighting game, Injustice 2. We've seen a lot so far in a few different trailers, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this. Without further ado, let's get into the good. Now, I love the story of the first Injustice game up until the point that the game takes place. An angry and vengeful Supreme Leader Supes is really interesting, but bringing the Justice League from an alternate universe to fight him felt lazy and forced and ultimately very convoluted. Now, this story really excites me because it looks like we're going to be taking a different approach, not going into the alternate realities and throwing in Supergirl's origin, as well as having Brainiac as the big bad. If they stay away from alternate universes, I really feel like we can be on a path to surpass the story of Injustice Gods Among Us. The next good that I'm going to talk about is the fighting. Now, in every NetherRealm game so far, all of the characters have had very interesting fighting styles that are very different for each character. This game looks no different. It looks like you can match the mechanics as well as the gear system to your playing style, and that seems really, really interesting. Now, the next good should go without saying, and that is that this game looks very aesthetically pleasing. All of the gears seem to fit very nicely on the characters, and the characters all look very realistic, or as much as superheroes in a real world can. They all look more like real people than even they did in a very good first game in Injustice Gods Among Us. The next good thing is that there are just so many characters in this game. Now, there's a rumored 31 characters that will be playable even before DLC hits. And that's not including all the character skins that we're getting on top of that, because we're also going to get a reverse Flash skin for the Flash, and it looks like in the recent trailer a Mr. Freeze skin for Captain Cold, which only makes sense. Now, I'm really excited about being able to play all of these characters, and then when the DLC hits, getting even more, but I'm going to be very mad if we don't get the Clown Prince of Crime, Mr. J. Now we're going to get into the bad of what we've seen so far. Now, while there's no denying that the graphics look great for this game, the problem is some of these things just look downright ugly. Now, I've never seen in any point in the comics where Superman wore a stupid-looking headdress that just looks like it's restricting and painful, and also, many people are excited about a slimmed-down Bane, but I feel like not showing off his muscles, or at least his arm skin muscles, really makes him look weaker, and he even looks smaller than a lot of the characters, which completely counteracts what Bane is. And dear God, what did they do to Black Adam? Like, seriously, like, you can see multiple times in this game that they really want to make a try to address looking like the characters from the movies and the TV universes, and Black Adam looks more like a grumpy old man than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. What the hell were they thinking? The next problem exists in all of NetherRealm's games, and that's the backdrops. Not that they don't look neat or anything, but they often come across as just arenas. And when we have these beautiful cinematic cutscenes that we see in the trailers, it's really depressing when you're going through the game's story and you see a backdrop that's just shot out with one camera angle, looking like it's only setting up the fight for the fighting game. Okay guys, now let's get on to the ugly of what we've seen so far. This game is selling itself on the reliance of the gear system that they've included. Now, this could be a really cool, innovative, neat technique that takes the upgrading your character feature from most RPGs and puts it into a fighting game. However, that doesn't come without its fair share of problems. The main problem is that it destroys competitive play. Now, what I mean by this is that most competitive games, fighting games, are based on your skill versus your opponent's skill. Now, this game takes that, and you may be better than your opponent, but they might have better gear. And a fighting game where it's all about who has the best gear isn't really that fun at all. But worse than all of that is if NetherRealm decides that they want to make the gear pay for it. Like, if you want to have the best gear, you have to get it from DLC, which you have to pay for. Not only is that bad, it also demonstrates a pay-to-win technique, which is just awful. The idea that you would only be good for forking out extra cash is depressing and would make the game almost unplayable for someone who wants to play it online but doesn't have the extra money. Now sure, this feature will be fun locally playing with friends, but in a competitive atmosphere, this could be a total deal breaker. Because if I have to spend an extra $20 just to be as good as somebody else, I'm not interested. Okay guys, now it's time to talk about the ceiling and basement for this game. The ceiling being the best that I think this game could possibly be, and the basement being the worst. Now, this game really intrigues me, and I think it could be very good. So the ceiling for this game is very high. This game could be as good as Mortal Kombat X. Now ultimately guys, this game could really end up more disappointing than bad, and that's why the basement isn't very low. The basement is Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. Another game that just didn't quite live up to its potential, and thankfully we got Injustice Gods Among Us. Okay guys, now time to talk about the verdict for this game. Now, if you are interested in fighting games, or you like everything that NetherRealm has made, or you're just really interested in the DC Universe, you're going to want to pre-order this game. And the reason for that is that, as I said before, there's going to be a lot of DLC for this game, and you're not going to want to spend any more money than you have to. Pre-ordering gets you Darkseid, so pre-order it. And as promised guys, I'm going to leave you with an emoji that tells you how I'm feeling about this game. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button down below and subscribe. It really helps us out, and the subscribe button will tell you when we're putting out some new content. We're going to be making a new Good, Bad, Ugly emoji every week, sometimes about movies, sometimes about games, sometimes about television. So go ahead and check us out weekly every Thursday. You can follow me on Twitter @AlanHavens, and I'm really looking forward to making some more videos for you guys. Thank you very much. Have a good day.